Hi, Tom.
What's up, Tom?
Hey, what's happening, guys? This is so cool. Love the show. Big fans of you both. Outside of the show as well. But hey, this machine, the Morpho machine. Of course, this is a series that talks about changing the life potential of these characters. Your two characters in season one had such very different outcomes when they got their card. One said superstar, the other kind of was like, oh, my potential must already been reached. In real life, Chris, let's start with you. If there was a Morpho machine in your life, what do you think is more damaging? Is it more damaging to get something that kind of tells you that you've arrived already, or is it more damaging that you've maybe not reached your potential?
God, I mean, I think it would be different. It would be different for everybody, wouldn't it? I feel like if I would feel equally as perturbed as Dusty does by the prospect of just having this is where you're at and this is where you'll always be at forever and that's it. It feels like that's disappointing. The potential is such an odd thing to even get your head around. So I like to think of it as a big plastic bag of human juice. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Imagine that you've got this plastic bag and it's empty when you're born. And through all of the experiences, good and bad, given to you by other people around you, they've squeezed a little bit of their juice into the bag. Now, some of the criticism or the negativity or the tragedy may prick a little pin in the bag and some of the juice comes out. But essentially what you're trying to do is to create a bag so full of glorious human juice that it plugs the hole. And that is your true potential.
Okay.
You could bring my bag juice story and tell it to the world.
I will do so.
I'm going to carry that story, bro.
Josh, respond to that. What do you think of Chris's bag story? And also, in general with Giorgio too, he's such a colorful character in season one, and that's the perfect card for him to get. What about you though? Does it sound scarier to get that superstar card as opposed to getting, a card that says what you are today?
I like the bag juice. Like, okay, so you've got the bag, right? And then in your life, everyone's adding into this bag their own juices. So to be honest, neither would scare me too much.
Okay.
If I was told that everything's going and this is where we're at, hey man, good. I'm chilling the rest of the way. And if you told me that there was something else going on that I should be chasing or some potential, like Jacob, Sammy Forless says on our show, what does he say on the show? It's like potential is purpose unfulfilled or something like that. Is that what he says on the show?
I don't know.
You remember? You taught it to him in the classroom.
That's right. What you said
it was
right.
Like episode 3, though, the first season. But it's something like that.
I believe what I said was potential is a big bag of humans.
Exactly.
We're gonna get hashtag human bag juice going on X. I think after this interview. My time is up. Thank you guys so much. Season 2 of the Big Door Prize is coming soon, and I encourage everybody to watch it. It's such a great show. Thank you both, gentlemen, and best of luck for you both.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Hi. How are you?
Oh, I'm obsessed with the show. So is my wife, and you guys are both amazing in it. So this is so cool to talk to you both.
Thank you.
The show, of course, deals with this mysterious machine that comes in and kind of gives everybody a glimpse at what their life potential would be. Gabrielle, let's start with you. I was curious, if this were to happen in real life in your town, what kind of reaction do you think you would have personally?
I would be terrified because no one has able to answer where this machine came from. But I'm a natural scaredy cat. The Social Security part would have definitely thrown me off.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm also a follower. So had enough people done it and like enough time passed, I'm absolutely going to try it because I don't want to be left out. And I think that it's the adventure of going on the journey to figuring out what on earth does this card mean? What on earth in this season do these visions mean? And I think sometimes a lot of us in life as humans, it's natural. We get complacent in our little box of comfortability, right?
Sure.
And sometimes we need that little extra push. And I think this Morpho machine represents that push that so many of us sometimes need because we will never change without being forced to change. So I think although a lot of the characters, some of them are going through changes that are difficult and hard and challenging and scary, we're hoping that on the flip side of that is something really beautiful that morphs into something that makes sense.
Sure. And Allie, for you, your character is interesting. You know, that you leave us on a big cliffhanger at the end of season 1 with a lot of mystery kind of surrounding your character. How fun is that to play in a show where there's all these kind of mysteries going on? How fun is it to be kind of central to all of that?
Oh, it's so fun. And I feel like I was kind of experiencing it as the character was, as kind of the audience is too, because we talked a lot with Dave about what I should know and what I shouldn't know. And he really wanted me to experience it as Hannah's learning it too. So for me, it was always every week reading the episodes like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And now what's that leading to? So it was a very fun little web that I was weaving as an actor too, of not knowing where we were headed, and that was really made it exciting.
And Gabrielle, your character is interesting too, because you're kind of tied to everybody. You know, your mother is the mayor, and your daughter, you know, has her own stuff going on, and then your husband and Giorgio is, you know, making passes at you all through season 1. Tell me, like, how fun is it to play Cass, and what can we expect? Without, you know, giving anything away, what can you tease us about what we can expect from her journey in season 2?
We find Cass has like hidden talents. We find that Cass has like this ability to stand on her own 2 feet and to vocalize things that in her mind she thought she could do, but it takes like friends to cheer her on and to validate what she felt was right. And then like standing on her own 2 feet to face the opposition in some way and say, no, that's not going to work for me anymore. I need time to process how I can be a better version of Cass. Otherwise, why did we do this journey to begin with, you know? So Cass gets to sing this season. That's fun. Cass gets to wear another fun outfit. I think last season I got to wear the big fun butterfly dress.
That was so beautiful.
This season I don't want to give a spoiler because I don't know if I'm allowed to, but there's a fun costume at the end of the season that it took many hands to put me in. Because I don't think without context it makes any sense. But it's quite hilarious.
And my final question, this could be for both of you, but I'll start with you, Allie. Ultimately, do you feel like it would be, you know, if you go into the Morpho machine, you get a card, would you rather it have some, you know, wonderful thing in there, superstar or royalty, or do you think it's more, I guess, painful for it to be something like what you are currently, or like you've already reached your potential? What do you think is a worse outcome?
Oh man, I think it would change daily. Like knowing me, I'd be like one day like, oh, this is great. And the next day, what is this? The pressure is insurmountable. So I think it would just depend on the day, the time of day, what mood I'm in. But yeah, I think that's what's great about the show is you see what you want to see in it. And it really depends on kind of what mood you're in.
Yeah, and I also think that I'm hoping what the show does is challenges people to want to go after their life potential no matter what stage they are or age in life. Because I think in society we have these pressures that are like, because I'm thinking the way I would answer that question is in my 20s, I would love something to show me the way. In my 40s or 50s, I would want something to be like, you've achieved your potential, you spent your time wisely.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't want in my 40s to 50s to feel like that's it and I have nothing else to pursue. So I think it's beautiful that if we allow ourselves the permission to go after our dreams and our goals and our life's potential, because we're all varied human beings. We're not good at just one thing. And it's okay to spend some time nurturing and massaging other things in life that might bring us joy, because otherwise, why are we living if we can't be happy?
You guys are both so great. My time is up. It was so great talking to you. Thank you for what you've given us with the show, and best of luck to you both moving forward.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
David, this is so cool to talk to you. I'm obsessed with the show. Me and my wife love it. And season 2, you know, it's so cool because it expands so much. You know, we were left on a cliffhanger, and we have so much more to get to with these characters. My main question that I had for you, though, is watching this, you know, everybody gets these potential cards. What I find the most fascinating is that the true, like, fascinating thing isn't really what's on the card. It's how us humans react to the card. There's people that are honest. There's people that are, you know, not truthful at all. There's people that conceal parts of, you know, what they find. Talk about what you know, the overall arcing, like what this is all saying about human nature and why this is so fun to, you know, to look into.
Well, I think that's a good way of putting it, that, the show plot wise is about this mysterious machine that can tell you your life potential, and you get to see what people get on their cards. And then in the second season, we go to this next stage where it's no longer cards, it's these visions, which I won't say too much about, but it's also these kind of deeply personal messages that a machine is giving to people. But as you say, it's really less about the message and more about what it does to that person, what it opens up in them. I love talking about the secret compartments that we all have. And Dusty uses that terminology in the show of opening up those compartments. And there's a bit of a worry of like, what am I going to potentially break if I open everything up? But also, if I don't open everything up, I'll never achieve whatever it is I'm supposed to become. So I think, without being too prescriptive about this is what you're supposed to take away from the show, it's just trying to ask questions about what it means to be happy.
Yeah, and something that's kind of lost too, upon looking at it, is this idea of community. It's one thing for one person to struggle with their own potential, but there's almost an unspoken, comparison. What did he get? What did I get? Well, what did he get over there?
Right.
Why is it so interesting to set it in this talk about just the interaction of all of these characters and what other people's potentials mean to each other?
Yeah, well, it's interesting that, in this show, we've kind of avoided screens and phones and social media and all of that stuff. But in a way, there is a lot of comparing, looking at what your neighbor has or what you think your neighbor has or what they got on their card versus what you got on your card. And I feel like we live in this age of constantly being aware of what everyone else is achieving and the stress of watching everyone around you achieving all of these things. So we really lean into that with these characters. First of all, that they all use the machine because they all want to know what their potential is. And then when they see other people making major changes, they are inspired to as well. So it means that this small town of really unique individuals is all going through this collective midlife crisis together.
And for you personally, you're the showrunner, of course, but do you feel personally that would it be more damaging to you if you went into the Morpho machine and it pretty much, told you that you've reached your life potential? Or is it more damaging, like, to find maybe that something so lofty that you feel like you failed at life or something?
Well, that's one of the questions we're exploring. I mean, that's essentially the question for Dusty, our lead character, who I do relate to, where, it's not that he knows what it is that he wants to do in order to be happy or to be successful. He thinks he has what he needs. And then he's told that he's reached his peak in the first season. And that is more, that sends him into a bigger tailspin than almost any of our other characters. So, there's really no great answer. You either have everything already or you'll never have it.
And then my final question for you is, you mentioned a little bit, about the next stage of, that is presented in season 2. What can you tease us about what people can expect with season 2 of the Big Door Prize?
Well, in the second season, as our characters are evolving, the machine is as well. And what people get when they go inside the machine, it's something they see. And what they see is different for every individual. And the visions come in the form of these retro video game graphics that might seem kind of rudimentary, but they connect with our characters in this really profound, deep way. And it's fun to watch the huge impact that these basically cartoons are having on our characters, because they see a little mini version of themselves. So I think the machine becomes both more complicated and complex, and also more vague in terms of what it's telling our townspeople. And so we get to see the chaos that results.
Well, again, I love the show. I hope everybody checks out season 2, and season 1, of course, is available to binge. It's so cool to talk to you. Thank you so much, and best of luck with the show and everything else you do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.